You hear my little neighbor? Well, my neighbor's grandson. Sounded all cute. Just a minute ago. Just a minute ago, I heard him say, "Hi, Grandma." How cute. How cute. How adorable. Can y'all hear him? Hi. Listen, it's a Wednesday in New York. Y'all gonna hear everything. You're gonna hear my neighbors in the hallway. You're gonna hear the streets of New York City. Welcome it and open your arms to it, okay? Open your arms, open your hearts. Let me get the light going a little better. Yes. What is up with you? I'm doing good. I'm rushing. It's Wednesday. I just got off a parent-teacher association thing with my daughter's school, and I'm running to get here. A lot of things have been happening for me, to me, with me. I honestly don't even know what's going on. I do know what's going on. Funny enough, a shift is happening, and I'm being called upon to find the funny in it. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind. Let me just say something, because I've been thinking about it for quite a while, okay? You're also going to hear my own child in the background because, bedtime ting. She's getting ready for school and stuff like that. And dinner. She's making her own dinner tonight because why should I? She's going to have to learn these skills eventually, right? Right. Y'all, I've had a very, very busy week. Since Thursday, Wednesday night. No, we'll give it Thursday. Since Thursday morning, I've been going non-stop. I was like, what do we do? I went out Thursday, and then she and I went to a play on Friday, and then we were out of town Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday came, and we just hit the ground running. I'm exhausted. Something weird is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's me. I don't know what it is, okay? But I have to say this because I think that I'm angry. When you feel the urge to do something, and you reach out to people for support or collaboration, and they're people, it's not like a random person, it's people that you're in community with, that you're close with. If you reach out to them and they tell you no, or they give you pushback, they ain't the ones. And I say that because I have recently had a discussion with someone. I wanted to work on a project, and I felt really, really strongly about it. I felt it, and I didn't know why I felt it. I realized later why I needed to do that, but now the moment has passed, and I missed out. We have missed out on an opportunity, on a blessing, and I'm angry at that. And I also realized I regularly, in the past, because new things, baby, new things, I have regularly allowed people, because I didn't trust myself, to tell me no, or take a step back, or think things through when I should have been moving. And I allowed them to stagnate. Is that the word? I allowed them to stagnate my growth. Which is funny that I'm coming to all these realizations recently, today, because my guest for today, Amelia Fortes, she is the Cosmic CEO, spiritual business mentor, and self-love coach. And I wonder, Amelia, you're going to come in, we're going to talk.
girl, what's going on?
Everything and nothing. Everything, all the things.
I
How are you?
understand. I am great. I'm tired. It is a day. We got Razak in the house. We got Cam in the house. We got all the people in the house coming through.
Yes,
and I feel you.
It's
been a couple of weeks.
It really has.
It's been a couple of weeks. You are not alone.
Okay.
Yana, as the great Allison Bird would have us say, Yana, you are not alone.
Oh, I never heard that before. Okay, I like that. Yana, you are not alone. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Amelia, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. For those who don't know you, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amelia. I'm a spiritual business mentor and self-love coach. But more importantly than my title, I am a human. I am a woman on this planet Earth, this janky-ass 3D reality. Aliens lock their doors when they fly by our planet. But I'm here. I'm with you in the cosmos. We're figuring it out. And I've been a lot of things. If anyone's into human design, I'm an experimenter. And so I've been a Wall Street VP. I've been a computer engineer. I've been a YouTuber, a podcaster. I've been all the things. All the things. Lots of shifts, lots of giggles, lots of tears.
I love it. Listen, yes, and I also think that that's one thing that I fail to mention sometimes when I'm doing this. There are lots of tears throughout the shifts and the giggles. I cried earlier this week. I can't remember why, but I did it. I remember being like, oh, this is what that feels like. Okay, keep moving.
Yeah, the tears are important. It's emotions leaving our body, so it's all good regardless.
Yeah. Before we get started, I want to know your zodiac sign.
Oh, you want to know my sign, girl? Okay.
I feel like you're like a Virgo or a Leo.
You are not
Cancer,
completely wrong. I am a Cancer sun, Taurus moon, Virgo rising, and my chart is Leo dominant. So,
oh my God,
you picked up.
I want to scream, but I don't want to blow out anybody's eardrums. I'm so excited right now.
Yep, you pick up on the Leo energy. Plus, my sun is cusp. Cancer Leo cusp. So I got big Leo vibes. Many people think I'm a Leo, but you get to know me, you feel my Cancerian, maternal, feminine vibes.
Okay. I know, right?
Cam says,
even though I wasn't right, I was right. I got it.
I love my big Virgo energy. We got big Virgo energy going on right now.
Okay. It is Virgo. It is Virgo season. I have a few Virgos in my family. One of my cousins, he just celebrated his 40th birthday. He's a Virgo, big Virgo energy. I don't even know if he subscribes to astrology, but I'm just like, oh, I see. I get it.
I want to say something about that, because to people that say I don't believe in astrology or I don't subscribe to it, that's like saying I don't subscribe to time. I like to tell people who are non-believers that astrology is just a clock. It just tells you what time it is in the sky. So there's nothing to believe in or not believe in. The planets are where they are, and they do what they do.
Okay,
we as human beings, these tiny specks of dust in the universe, have energy that can affect you, who's to say that a big whole ass planet doesn't have energy that can affect you?
Right. It's so funny. I had this discussion with a Leo who doesn't subscribe. He believes that the moon is connected to the ocean waves, but doesn't believe in stars. And I'm just like, make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense to me.
The math ain't mathin'.
The math ain't mathin'. I'm a Pisces, super emotional, but I also have I'm a Leo rising. And I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart and some Scorpio as well. So,
ooh, that's a really hot mix.
It's a hot mess. That's what it is.
I mean, look, yes. But in the best way. I love a beautiful mess. There's a lot of intensity with all of those signs. But when that intensity is appreciated, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think
from self and from others as well.
So too. See, now I had one
I
set of
know we have a
that I wanted to
plan,
talk
and
to you
now look.
about, and now it's something else. Okay, listen, we're gonna go to we're gonna do the cosmic astrology thing really really quick. So I was on your website and I was like reading about you, and I was reading about your family, and it said that your mom wanted you to become a Catholic priest. Is that for real, or?
She would have loved it if I would have. She would have loved for one of us to join the clergy, but that wasn't in the stars for me.
Okay.
Here's the thing that I feel. So my mom, immigrant to the United States, and I feel, Philippines colonized by Spain, Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and the US.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, those immigrants to the United States or not even just the immigrants, but that strongly subscribe to Catholic or Christian ideology,
Mm-hmm.
that is from, we can get political here, but that is from millennia of like oppression, and
Mm-hmm.
like they had to believe in that to survive. And so I feel like my mom had been through a lot in her life, and like that was one thing that she could hold on to. She could go to church every Sunday. She actually went to church every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that she just held on to. And she actually got a lot, she passed 10 years ago, but she got a lot more fanatical towards the end. And she was, just very, like, she used it because I think when people strongly believe in that in a way that like shames or guilts others, it's like projecting their own inner turmoil, and it's this semblance of control and this semblance of morality or justice or whatever. So she felt that, she would have loved for one of us to be, I was a choir girl, I was in teen group, I did all the Catholic things. So she would have loved it if one of us would have been a nun or a priest or something. Yeah. So it's true.
Yeah, that is hilarious. Also, I just want to say I'm so sorry for your loss. How you guys were really close.
Yes.
Am I feel like I'm projecting. I feel like I'm close to my mom. I'm like, you must be close to your mom too.
Well,
yeah, and
we were really close. She said, well, a lot of people told her, you didn't have a daughter, you had a clone. Like, if you look at pictures of my mom, and times even now where I can see like my aunts and my uncles and like the people in my family, when they see me, they literally drop their jaw because they're like, you look just like your mom. And I do. And there's so many things that I do, and I think of her because I'm just like, oh, mommy, this is all you. Yeah. All the best parts of me come from her. And all the not so best parts.
Listen, we could go into that, because same for me. Some of the best and worst parts of my parents I recognize in myself, and I do things and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was my mom right there. Or oh my gosh, I'm acting like my dad. Yeah, I totally get that. I want to double back to Catholicism really quickly. I feel like this is funny. I've said this to a few people, but not to many people. I feel like Catholicism is like a gateway drug to like other things.
I need you to say more. Oh, this is good.
So like Christianity is one thing, and yes, they are very, there are some people who are very fanatical. I went to a Catholic school, even though I had a very interesting upbringing. I went to Catholic school. I went to a Baptist church, but I was blessed as a Muslim. So my mom's family is Muslim, dad's side is Christian. But once I was in like Catholic school, I started to like, they have all these saints, which to me, as I did more research and reading, translates to deities. And so then I started to think about that. And so that's why I was just like, I think Catholicism is like a gateway drug into other spaces, because if you believe in saints, why can't you believe in goddesses and other deities? Like, I just feel like it mirrors one another, it kind of goes hand in hand. So how did you go from like, and not how did you go, but like, was it was it just like a transition? I don't know. I didn't intend to
I
talk
become
about
the witch I
religion.
am today.
Right. I didn't intend to talk about religion, but like, how did you go from like what I assume is like a very Catholic household to being the witch that you are today?
Yeah, no. Well, I've always been a questioner,
Mm.
you know, I remember distinctly 5 years old in Sunday school, getting prepared for communion. Well, communion is a couple years later, but I would literally question my teacher on everything.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, so Jesus died for us. How does that make sense? Like, what does that mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, there's something you're not saying to me because it doesn't fully make sense. And every time I had like a really good question, it's like, oh, well, you just have to believe. And so, you know, I've always been a questioner and a seeker, and I've always been spiritual and obsessed with relationships, like not just relationships between humans, but relationships that people have with God. And like I said, back to that questioner thing, I always wondered why people believed what they believed, why people would be so adamant about certain things. And I've always been very open, like ever since I was a little girl. Yeah. And very curious. And so growing up in that super Catholic household, I didn't really have like other influences that made me interested in other things. However, you know, growing up in Queens, one of the most ethnically diverse places in the world, I had friends from different religions, and I was genuinely curious about it. And even when there were hints or like people talking about other religions, like other religions are wrong, I was genuinely curious, like, oh, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Right. Also, the schools that I went to, most of the people were Jewish. And then my neighbors were Muslim and Hindu. And so I had it around me, but also it was ingrained in me like, but Catholicism is right and everyone else is wrong. But again, always being curious. And also growing up in New York City, especially in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it wasn't so much about yoga and spirituality. And, you know, New Yorkers can tend to be very like, that's not real. Like, I only believe it if I see it type stuff. So growing up, there wasn't a lot of like astrology talk or anything like that. But I've always been curious. And as soon as there was like, I had access to the internet, I was naturally looking up astrology and what it means and all of that. Then 2012, I moved to LA, and we know LA, earthy, crunchy, you know, spiritual land. And that was where my spirituality really opened up because I was in the environment for that. And that's when, like, around that time, that was when, like, Power of Now, The Secret, Law of Attraction, all of that stuff came out. And I started, like, eating that up. So I started listening to Abraham Hicks. In LA, there's a famous place. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name of it now. Agape, which is like a spiritual center. And then I was like, oh, I didn't even know that they had like non-denominational spiritual centers. So I started going to those, meditating, doing yoga. And through doing those practices, I found my connection with the divine. I found my own personal connection with spirit, the collective unconscious, the universe, whatever it is. And I studied and studied and studied all different things. For a while, I thought maybe I'm going to be a Buddhist. So I went to Buddhist temples. I even did the chanting, the Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Like I did a lot of different things. And because of studying everything, I realized that every religion is actually saying the same thing. And so it just made me wonder, like, if every religion is pretty much saying the same thing, why is each one so adamant about the other being wrong? And there's this beautiful space in LA, this beautiful temple place in LA. It's called the Lake Shrine. And one of my favorite spots in that space, which if you're ever in LA, you got to go, it's amazing, is this like circle in the middle of the courtyard. And you stand in the middle, and all around the circle are symbols of the major world religions. And the purpose of that, or the intention of that, is to show that, yes, there are all these different major religions, but they're all pointing to the same message and they're all saying the same thing. And so that's when I started to kind of be like spiritual, not religious. but I genuinely love, love, love learning about different religions and different rituals and practices and holidays. And the more I study about it and the more I learn about it, they're all essentially pointing to the same thing. So that's kind of how I ended up here. But I think having my personal connection and meeting other people that had this unapologetic connection with the divine, the universe, spirit, and their witchiness. And then there was a whole period of time, which I still do this, like healing the feminine and all of that. And so getting to know different goddesses and deities and all of that super witchy stuff, like literally on a scale of 1 to woo, I am like woo times 10, you know, like I'll dance naked under the moon, I'll howl at the moon, I'll put blood on my forehead. It's a whole thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And it's not so much about me trying to attach to something that's outside of myself. It genuinely comes from what feels good, like on the inside, like what connects my inner cosmos to the outer cosmos. So I'm pretty open. I'm pretty open. That. Yeah.
I'm on a scale of, what was it, 1 to woo?
I'm woo woo woo.
I'm gonna use that from now on. On a scale of 1 to woo, I'm like off-centered, leaning towards the woo. Like I'm not fully there yet. I feel like I'm getting there though. You know, I have books by my bed, I have crystals in my window, I have my Palo Santo, I have my sage, you know, all that stuff. But I still feel like there's so much that I don't understand and so much that I need to know. And like you, I consider myself a spiritual person, not particularly religious, because I was surrounded at an early age by so many of them. And they all just say the same thing. I wonder, because you said you're a spiritual business mentor, why spiritual? And, you know, because I wonder, let me play, you know, the skeptic. What does spirituality have to do with business?
Oh, such a good question. So spiritual business mentor is really important to me because I help you align your business with the stars. And I find that I grew up in this society that is very much based on hustle culture and productivity being your worthiness. We still work 9 to 5, most of us. We still work a schedule that was made up. I don't know why I did that, but that was made up to fulfill the needs of the industrial age, which was like a really long time ago now. Yeah. We're in a completely different era. And I find what a lot of people struggle with, myself included, was like following strategies, like what's like sales strategies, marketing strategies, branding strategies. Like these are the colors that evoke this emotion, or these are the fun. Like it's just very, very tactical from the brain. And for me, what really makes it all come together in my own business and in what I help my clients with is how to align that outer tactical strategic work with your inner cosmos. Because intuition. And actually, I went live last night. If y'all want to, after this or at some point, hop onto my Instagram with Ashley. We talked about human design. And what she said that I actually didn't know until she said it is that none of us were designed to make decisions from our logical mind.
Ooh, okay.
Yet that is what we are trained to do from the time we are like 5 years old or even younger. We're trained to make pros and cons list. How does it make sense financially? Like everything from logic. But intuition doesn't come from logic. Intuition comes from your cosmos. And so I find, like, especially when clients come to me and also with myself through building my business over the last 13 years, is that what got me the results, not just financially, but psychologically and emotionally, was when I trusted my intuition and when I made business decisions and did business things based on what's actually in alignment with my inner cosmos. And so that's why spiritual business mentor, because I can teach the business strategy all day long. I've been in the online business space for over a decade now. And I know that that's not going to help you. You could be doing all the right things, but if it's not in alignment with who you are, your inner universe, you could get results, they might not feel as good,
Right.
or you could not get the results that you're seeking and wonder what's wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're just doing strategies based on, oh, because this millionaire said to do it, or this, you know, multiple six-figure person said to do it, without first checking in if it's even in alignment with yourself. And that's where the spiritual business mentoring comes in. And that's a great question. Yeah, what the heck does it have to do? It has everything to do with it, in my opinion.
When you put it like that, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because, oh boy, I'm just thinking about my own life. I'm like, shit, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Not what I should be doing. How would you suggest that someone find alignment within themselves so that they could pour it into their business? Like, how would we know if we're in alignment?
There's a million different ways, but the easiest, simplest kind of tactical way is your body a fuck yes or is it not? Granted, we always know, like, think for anyone watching this, and even for myself as I ask this question, think about a time in your life where everything made sense logically, but something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And you did it because it made sense logically, but something wasn't right, and there wasn't a reason why you knew it wasn't right. You just kind of knew. That was your inner cosmos being like, this ain't it, the sun ain't shining over here.
Yeah.
Or on the flip side, you know, something that makes no sense, but your body, your spirit, your soul, your gut, I'm saying all these parts of the body because different people have different authorities. Whatever it is for you is a yes, and it makes no sense, but you just do it. Like me moving to LA made no sense. You know, there's a lot of things that I do that make no sense logically, that make no sense to me sometimes, and that certainly make no sense to my family, and that certainly make no sense to like my friends. I was like, oh, why are you doing that? And a lot of times my answer is I don't know, but it just feels right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. And I also love how you named all the parts of the body because different people have different authority. I love that. Oh, wow. Okay.
Everyone has a different guiding light. And so that's why spiritual business mentor, because, you know, information is free. If all we needed was how to launch an offer, how to launch a business, if that was all we needed, anyone who wanted one would have one, and we would all be millionaires.
Right.
But aligning what you're doing on the outside with what's actually going on the inside, that's what really matters. You know, another example is like a lot of people, you know, look at my Instagram or look at my YouTube or just look at me and they're like, oh, but I can't do what you do. And I'm like, so don't, because I'm aligning with who I am, and what I'm doing makes sense for me. You know, I'm meant to be like the passion and the fire and the woo excitement, but some people are meant to be a lot more grounded or a lot more educational or a lot more direct. You know, I'm thinking of someone who has millions of followers, the holistic psychologist. Her Instagram does not have her face on it. It's very educational. It's very straightforward. And if you look at her inner cosmos, her design, if you will, that makes sense. Okay. And so for me, even every day, even to this day, like I teach it and I'm still learning it, like how to keep aligning. Because when I align, like when I've tried to do business strategies just because I saw it on YouTube or just because some millionaire was like, this is how I made $1 million in 5 seconds. Yeah. But it didn't feel right for me. It would fall flat. It would fall flat. And when I would abandon logic and trust myself and trust that I know what to do, and also with the guidance of people who can point me in the right direction, but it just made such a difference. You know, it was the difference between me just getting clients here and there and me being very intentional and making 30K in 6 days. Yeah, like that. It can't be that. Yeah. And because I followed my design. Right. I followed the strategy for my design. I wasn't trying to do things just because I saw it online. And that's something that I'd say to people too, because oftentimes we're trying to, like, I call it Frankensteining. Like, you know, we see where there's a lot of people we admire online, right? And so we're like, oh, they're doing that. That looks cool. They're doing that. That looks cool. So then you take the piece of this from that person and a piece of this from that person, and you try to do your Canva carousels, and you're trying to do all these things. And so you're Frankensteining all these bits and pieces that may not even be in alignment with what your intention is, what your income goals are, all of that. And that's why spiritual business mentor, because it's important to me to help people understand how to make that alignment happen. Because when you do, then you actually work less. Or it feels like you're working less because you're being
actually
yourself.
enjoying what you do.
You're being yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, I work a lot. I do work a lot, but honestly, it doesn't really feel like it because I'm having so much fun. Like being on a show like this, like it's just so much fun. Okay. And it's in alignment with my design, you know, hey, Leo dominant, hello. Camera on me always, please. Tell me you're a Venus in Leo without telling me you're a Venus in Leo.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yo, that was so good. That you're like literally like dropping all the gems. I have like 2 pages of questions. Do you have, how much time do you have?
We could go. I'm ready. Now I'm here. We're ready. Let's go.
Okay. So
are y'all enjoying this?
Yes.
If
you're enjoying this, wave, give us hearts, give us thumbs up. If you have questions, you can drop it in the chat or, you know, the little question bubble thing. So I often find that people who get into the field of like business mentorship and self-love coach do it for 2 reasons. 1, they're good at it. 2, because they didn't have anybody to assist them. Is that the same for you?
Yeah. I mean, that's the short answer. And one of my mentors, I actually did her mystery school back in 2017. She said we often teach what we need to learn. And self-love and learning how to align my business like from a place that came from within, not from a place of trying to prove myself to anyone else, has been my lesson. I'm sure a lot of people have heard this, but one of my favorite things that I say about entrepreneurship is that it's one of the best personal development journeys you can go on, and it has been a journey. And so, yeah, I growing up, you know, family did the best that they could, but I'm a Cancer sun and I'm sensitive and I'm a Taurus moon. So I need a lot of like emotional attention, Venus and Leo, a lot of snuggles and a lot of stuff. And my family was busy. My siblings were so much older than me. So, but even when I was a kid, they were already out having boyfriends, girlfriends, going to the club. And I remember distinctly having tantrums. My brother and sister are leaving for the club, and I'm like, I want to go out too. Let's go out. And they still make fun of me to this day that I'm like crying, which actually now I go out with them and we bring it up every time because they're like, oh, look who's out with us now. So I felt alone a lot. And, you know, my mom, she was really busy raising 5 kids, single mom, jobs and all. 5. Yep. 5 babies came out that belly.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wait, say that again?
We Fortes women are fertile.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you go finish?
I was just gonna say I'm Filipino American, and so she was a tiger mom, and if you don't know what that term means, it's a very strict mom that's very much like, if I come home with a 99, it's good. The first question is going to be, why did you lose a point? So just those were the standards that I had to live up to as a child. And so it was very hard on myself and did not learn how to be compassionate and kind with myself. And that's not to place all the blame on my family. I think society conditions us this way, you know, put up or shut up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know, there's very little encouraging and empowering teaching. And so learning how to love ourselves, learning how to regulate our own nervous systems, learning how to have compassion for ourselves when we make mistakes is a lifelong journey. And the reason why it came down to self-love, one, my human design, if there was a theme for my human design, I had a reading many times. And one time she was like, the theme for your human design self-love. And I was like, oh, great. My company is all about self-love. but one of the teachings that I had was, when people are figuring out, what do I be a coach about, or what do I be a healer? Like, what do I do? What's my one liner,
Yeah.
And one of my teachers said, it comes from your biggest wounding. You turn your wounding into healing for yourself and other people. And I'm like, well, girl, your girl's been traumatized like a few dozen times. So like, what do I do? Start 12 businesses?
Right.
And so, yeah, she said they'll find the ribbon that ties it all together. And it was self-love, with my relationships, with my money story, with my career, with my business story. It all came down to loving myself enough to do what I really wanted instead of what I should do or what I was told I should do that would make me successful. That's deep.
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm like, yeah.
So I don't even know what I'm saying right now.
Well, listen, that was deep. I feel it too, Cam. I feel it too. I'm like, damn. I'm listening to you talk, and I'm like taking things, and I'm like I'm holding on to it so that I can, like, after we finish this interview, I'm like, I said like a lot. Goodness gracious. I'm going to apply some of the things that you are saying in my own personal life. What did your family have to say when you transitioned from, working on Wall Street to working for yourself? What was that like? What were the conversations like? What were the projections of the fear?
A lot. There was a point in time where I had 70 missed calls on my phone from concerned family members begging me to go back to work at the bank. There was a whole showdown at Easter Sunday family party. And if any of y'all know Filipinos, we got hundreds of people at the family party. And I wasn't planning on announcing to my dozens of relatives that I was leaving Wall Street. But my mom let it slip out, and anarchy. It was anarchy. And I want to tell anyone watching this who can relate, which I know a lot of people can relate, it is worth it to face that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was scary. There was literally a moment. So she's like, oh, did you know she's leaving Wall Street? And everyone was like, skirt. And I sat there like, and then of course everyone had something to say.
Right.
And I had that moment. I don't know any Mean Girls fans in the audience. I'm a huge Mean Girls fan. I had that moment where like she's on the phone and she's like, wait, start crying, start apologizing, hang up the phone. And so I literally was like, do I start screaming? Do I start crying? Do I just leave the house dramatically? Like, I don't know what to do. So I was like sitting there. And I guess maybe this was one of my first spiritual awakenings that I didn't know at the time, because I'm like sitting there just taking it, kind of like deer in headlights. Everyone's like, don't you know you should feel lucky that you have a good job? Don't you know it's so risky to just leave? Entrepreneurship is so risky. Are you sure? Just everything. Just
right.
I was like sitting there, and I don't know, the power of, I don't know, something opened and Shakti ran through my veins. And I just was like, I found this space of peace in the midst of the chaos. I found my voice. And I said calmly, I was like, may I speak now? I said something like, are you done? Like, may I speak? Not like in a bitchy way. Like,
but in like a...
thank you. I said, I was like, thank you. Can I say something now? And then I was like, and then there was like other kids, like my little cousins and my nieces and nephews, like the high school kids. And I was like, and kids, listen up, because this is going to be you in a few years. And I just was like, who in here can tell me that you are living the life of your dreams? I was like, who can tell me that you are blissfully happy, feeling creative and passionate in the work that you do and the work that you've done? And I was like, anybody? And some people started to say like, oh no, and I was like, no, it's a simple yes or no question.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, okay. So why would I listen to your advice? Because that's the life I'm looking to create. And I was like, and with all due respect, I did it your way. You see, I got my degree. I got the fancy job on Wall Street. And you know what? I hate myself every day. And when you're all gone, which you will be at some point, who has to live with myself? I'm the one that has to go to bed with myself every night. Are you going to create that happiness for me? Are you going to create that passion for me? No. So with all due respect, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to figure it out, because what I'm shooting for is something that none of you have. So with all due respect, none of y'all are my mentors right now. So thank you. I love you. Good night.
Oh my goodness.
It was a mic drop. Like literally everyone was like, nobody messed with me after that. Nobody questioned me after that.
They were like, oh, she's got it.
Yeah, or I mean, or they're just like, well, I got nothing to say, you know. And there were maybe like one-off conversations. There were a few times that my mom was like, you sure you still don't want to go back to being a VP? I was like, hell no. It's like, you know, Citibank's hiring. I'm like, Citibank, like, where's Citibank now? Where are they now? This
exactly.
security you speak of does not exist. Speak to any millennial.
You know what's so funny? I have that as a question. What does your dream life look like, and are you living it? I wrote that down.
Well, right now, what does it look like right now? Well,
what does your dream life look like, and how close are you to living it? I wrote that down, and then you said that, and I was like, oh snap. Okay.
Yeah, you know, there are certainly goals that I have that get to be achieved, and I feel like we never get there, right? Like it's almost like trying to touch the horizon. If you're at the shore and you're swimming, you're trying to touch the horizon, which you can never touch because it's always moving. And so there are certainly dream lives that I have achieved along the way. And I actually touched a dream of mine this week, actually, that I'm like, okay, like, how do I make this happen? But I will say, I have been able, like, when I was still on Wall Street, my dream was to not need an alarm clock. That was it. It was just like, I want to live life on my own terms. I want to make my own schedule. I want to not have an alarm clock. And if I want to freaking go to Jamaica, I don't want to have to tell nobody. I don't want to have to ask for the days off. I don't want to have to have people. That was like my first like mini dream. And I did that just by quitting. I just was like, bye, I'm gone.
Yeah.
And then it was to like sustain my lifestyle from my business.
Right.
So I'm able to do that, and I can live anywhere. You know, I lived in Guatemala for 6 months in 2021. I lived in Chile. I can go wherever I want. So I have this time, location, freedom.
Okay.
But the new dream, I'm going to share it, y'all. We're going to shift and giggle. I really, really want to be a game show host.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't I be so good?
You would be really good as a game show host. Is there like a game show out now that you would love to host?
Well, a game show host or like a dating reality show. Like I would love to host like Love Island or something like that and just get to like roast her.
Okay, if anybody has any connections to productions or casting, drop them because Amelia is going to be the host of one of these shows.
And I will tell you, I've been on so many game shows. So there's a running joke. It's actually not a joke because it's true. My side hustle is winning game shows.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can only be on one game show per year, but every year there is a producer in LA that calls me. And I haven't done it in the last couple of years, but I usually fly out. I go be on the game show, and I usually win at least like $10,000. So that's kind of my side hustle. So producers love me. The game show producers love me as a contestant, but I would like an ongoing job as the host. And I've been watching a lot of game shows lately. And I'm just like, I would be so good at this.
Okay, really quick. That's like a dream life. Like, you are in charge of your own business. You make your own money. And your side hustle is going on game shows. That is hilarious.
Yep.
I could definitely see you hosting a game show. Can also see you hosting like a love reality competition show or something like that. I would never go on one of those. I'm too scary. I have a friend here, Kiki, who was actually on a show like that on HBO called My Mom, Your Dad, something like that.
Oh, yes. I know. Yes.
Yes. Hi, Kiki. me he was on the
Wouldn't
show.
you have rather I hosted that? I actually was on an episode of Black Love. Another Momentum graduate was on Black Love back in 2016 or 2017 on the FYI network. And I happened to be in New York, and she was like, "Come be my friend on the show." And I was in an episode of it. So I've been on reality shows. I'm there. The producers like me. The networks like me. I've got the energy. And so, yeah, it's something that I get to be open to, and I get to make moves towards. I have a super old hosting reel, but it's super old. My hair is blonde.
That's okay.
But it's
You got the same energy, right?
yeah. Better now, though. I'm better now.
Oh, so you have to get a new headshot. Got to get a new hosting reel. We're gonna make that happen. I don't know how yet. It's gonna happen, and I'm gonna be like, she told me first.
Yeah, that's right. I told you first. Absolutely, absolutely. And look, I'm someone who makes things happen. You know, like it happens. You know, there's things that I've written down on Post-its, and then they've happened, and I'm literally like, oh shit, like it happened.
Cam said you're in a car commercial?
Yeah, I was in a car commercial. So living in LA gave me a lot of a hair model on this show called Fab Life. Yeah, so I've done a lot of different things, and I was in a car commercial. And these are things like not like going for it. It's just like me being like, la, 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 I'm open for opportunities.
And they just come.
Yes, I make it I made a promise to myself that things come easy to me. Ooh. And they I mean, I'm human, and there's shitty times for sure, but like that, when I told you I got into Abraham Hicks and Law of Attraction, I'm about it. I'm about it. Like, it's hard for me to be in like a scarcity thinking place because my mind is just so expanded. And I don't say that to flex. I say that because I worked on that, you know. I feel like just like we can, you know, work our peach buns, you know, we could do some squats to get the plump booty. We can work on our mindset and our thinking and our body expansion to be more like stronger in that space. And I'm quite strong there. I'm not shy about that, you know. And I will say it is hard for me to like be in a space where there is some scarce thinking. I feel like I can't even be here. I can't relate. I can't even talk to you. But yeah, so it's you know, it's a double-edged sword sometimes. But for me, I'm just like, yeah, I got really excited actually. So I'm all about like signs from the universe. So as I'm watching game shows, and you know, Cam and I, we've been finding different game shows, and I'm like, I really want to host one. And I've been binging Love Island like crazy. And the Love Island season 2 host for Love Island USA, she was horrible. And I was just like, oh my God, that should have been me. I would have had so much fun with them. And it started to like come to me like, I think I want to do this. And at first, this is always the first step, admitting it to yourself. So for me, I was feeling it, but I hadn't yet admitted it to myself. So first I admitted it to myself, and then I admitted it to my partner, to Cam. And then literally yesterday, I told one of my friends. And so, and then Netflix, because I have like my casting out at different places just in case they want to call me. So Netflix emailed me and was like, oh, like we have some new shows. Can you update your preferences? And I was like, Netflix is emailing me. So I'm like, okay. And there were some shows that I didn't know what they were. So I had to look up because I was like, I don't want to sign up for a show and I don't know what it is. There's this one show called The Floor is Lava. I don't know.
That's like it's almost like American Gladiator.
Yeah. I watched the reel for that, the trailer for that. I clicked that one. Literally, like a few minutes after resubmitting my preferences to Netflix, my friend texted me and said, has anyone ever told you you look like the host from The Floor is Lava? And she sent me a photo, and it was a photo. I don't really think she looks like me, but I could see why she said it. It was the hair and the face and like the, you know, the body language. And so I was like, oh my, and I showed Cam, I was like, oh my God, like it's out there. It's in the universe.
Oh my goodness. It just hasn't circled to you yet. It's coming though.
Yeah. I just have to make the space for it, right? Like first you decide it's gonna happen, then you receive, then you open up the space, and then it happened. And now I'm just, Kiki says, it's just, y'all go see me.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Whether it be The Floor is Lava or Love Island, I don't watch any. I don't watch any of
That's
those shows. I feel a little like out of the loop sometimes though. Yeah.
yeah.
I had something else to say and I just lost it.
Love Island, Floor's Lava. I know what I wanted to say actually is like, you know, because I said, oh yeah, you'll see me on the billboards. Like, yes, it's about that. But really, like, I feel like this is the best use of like my natural gifts and talents to just bring joy and happiness and a little bit of sass or a whole lot of sass to the world. And just, yeah, help people find love, help people win money. I love those shows. I love those shows so much. They make me really emotional, actually, like even the fun ones, because I just love seeing people win and seeing people go for their dreams, and then they get to interact with like some sort of host. And yeah, I would have so much fun doing that.
Yeah. Speaking of finding love, I see your question, Kiki, but I have a question first. Speaking of finding love, I have a bunch of questions.
Yes.
Huh. Hmm. Hmm. How did you find your love? Your partner, Cam Fortes. For those of you who don't know, Cam was one of my first guests to come on the show back in, what was that, June, July? Yes.
I think, yeah, June or July.
Yeah, that was like June, July. How did you find your love? And what were, I guess, what were some of the things within yourself that you needed to shift to open yourself and prepare yourself for that, for the experience of Cam? Hi, Cam.
Well, yes, I manifest love the same way I manifest everything else. So for me, just to kind of do a before and snapshot, before it was.
Wait, you cut out.
Yeah, sorry, my battery was telling me it's low. It was a lot of frustration. It was a lot of like getting ghosted, being attracted, perpetually attracted to assholes, unavailable people. And it just got to a point where I was like, I am the common denominator here. I cannot blame men. I cannot blame the dating apps. I cannot blame anything else but me. Like, I am the common denominator here. And so I went on like a deep healing journey to just be real with myself and realize that I can complain all day long about dating apps or men or the dating pool or whatever, but I'm the one choosing them. So there's something there. So I got really curious about, why am I choosing these situations? And rewind even a little bit before that, I was in a very abusive relationship in college, and it was like 3 years of just like, what the fuck. I don't mean to laugh, that just came out, but it was kind of like, what the heck. And then for anyone that's been in a situation like that, when you get out of it, or when I got out of it, it was just like, how did that happen?
Right.
You know, and not condoning his behavior at all, not condoning abuse at all, but realizing that I'm the one responsible for the results in my life. I'm the one responsible for like the situations that I get into. And so not that I deserved it, or not that I'm condoning that behavior, but what was it about me that had me not only attract this person, but also choose this person, but also stay with this person? And it boiled down to, because that's what I believed I deserved. And that was what was familiar to me.
Right.
And I read The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz, the famous author of The Four Agreements. And you have it there. Amazing book. Yep. And one of the lines that shoots me down every time, even every time I say it, and I'm just going to paraphrase it, but he says, when we are with someone who abuses us even a little bit less than we abuse ourselves, we will tolerate it endlessly. And so that behavior, that relationship was mirroring what I was already doing to myself. That's why it made sense metaphysically, right? Not logically, of course, but metaphysically. And so that's where I found self-love. So as horrible as that experience was, I am spiritually grateful for it because it helps me find the deepest root of my self-love. Because I was like, never again will I feel that way. Will I loathe myself that much that I am going to choose that situation ever again? And so self-love is what I had to learn. I had to learn that I was comfortable with toxic situations, that I was comfortable with high risk relationships, with high drama, that I was more comfortable with the yearning for a relationship than I was with being in one. And I'm pausing there because that's real shit.
Yeah.
A lot of us are comfortable complaining about not being in love, more comfortable with that than actually being in love. So we make it about it's not happening for me, but actually the muscle, since we talked about muscle a little bit, the muscle that needs to be strengthened is being comfortable with healthy love. Yeah. Being comfortable with emotional attention, being comfortable with presence and connection and intimacy, real intimacy, not, you know, oh, the sex is really good intimacy, or the drama, like, you know, it becomes like a drug. The drama can actually be a drug. And so we're actually using the drama to run away from the intimacy. And so these were like really hard truths that I had to face with myself. And basically before finding healthy love, I had to practice. So just like you want a plump peach booty, you got to go to the gym. Maybe you won't be able to do the heavy weights, but you do a little bit at a time. Right. That was a word. Yes, thank you. Yeah. You got to do a little bit at a time. And so when I didn't date at all because I needed to cultivate that intimacy with myself. All of the things that I said I wanted from a partner, I realized I wasn't even doing for myself. And actually one of my clients, because one of my first like businesses, the first business that I built successfully was coaching business, I should say, was dating and relationship coaching. And one of my clients said this to me, and she was like, you know, I want someone that's going to compliment me and adore me and say all these things to me, yet I'm only talking nasty to myself, not nasty like good nasty, like bad. Right. I'm like, I'm having self-talk. Right. So how can, like, and I said, yeah, so how can you even receive that? So even if you had someone complimenting you all the time, would you even be able to receive it? Because your body, your psyche is familiar with being treated badly because you're treating yourself badly. Right. So I had to like kind of remove the dating from it because I was using dating as a drug. I was using dating as an escape. I was using attention from men as a drug and as an escape. I was using sex and sexuality as a drug and escape. And so I had to reconnect with that intimacy with myself first and give myself the things that I said I wanted from a partner. And I don't mean like fancy dinners and stuff. I mean love, intimacy, emotional attention, compassion, grace, uplifting, encouragement. So I did that for myself for quite some time. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to get back into dating. And I did it, you know, slow and steady wins the race. And I said, you know, I'm not looking for the one. What I'm looking to do is get comfortable with having healthy interactions with men. Okay. So I literally did like little coffee dates. No more than 30 minutes. And that was just to get comfortable getting to know a man. Okay. Sitting mano y mano and just being like, hi. Right. Which was incredibly hard to do because we're used to like the chase and the flirt and the drama and the this and the that. And oh, why won't he call me back? And I was like, I don't have time for any of that anymore. I'm tired. I've been dating since I was 15. I'm tired. I just want to get to know people. Yeah. I just want to get to know people. I just want to find out information. So doing that, opening up my heart, I got more comfortable with healthy interactions. And incredibly, this felt so good when I noticed this. What used to attract me was not attractive anymore. You know, the mysterious, guarded, emotionally unavailable person that just looks so sexy across the room. I'm like, that is so unattractive. I'm like, nothing sexier than some vulnerability. Nothing I used to be so attracted to that like mysteriousness.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I became comfortable and used to healthy interactions
Okay.
with men in general, and then also romantically. And I learned the difference between what was a drug, what was an escape, and what was actual building of intimacy.
Wow.
And that
Oh,
helped
man.
me trim a lot of the fat.
Yeah. That would. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is okay. Everybody's like, oh, somebody in the room needed to hear that. You're looking at her. Okay. 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 I admit it. I claim that it's me. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah,
And
that was.
I
Oh.
think that the just from a tactical perspective, those like just small like coffee dates. Oh yes, and then we'll get to Cam for sure. And so those like small coffee dates will just kind of, it showed me how scared I was of vulnerability, how scared I was of intimacy. No, you didn't miss that, Kiki.
You didn't miss that, Kiki.
It showed me how scared I was of that, and so I got to like go home and like open that up for myself. And when I opened it up for myself, you know, not just vulnerability emotionally, but also sexual vulnerability, I had to learn to open that up for myself and not need to use another body or another human to validate my sexuality, to validate my worth. I didn't need any of that. I got to a place where I was so good on my own that it would take someone really special to even catch my attention.
Okay.
And so I'm not like desperately looking for it anymore.
Right.
And I know that a lot of people get stuck in this, like they go on a date. Are you the one? Are you the one? It's just like, I don't know. But if you are, it will be known.
Right. Right.
It will be known. Yeah. And so actually with Cam, so we met online, not a dating app, which we love to say.
So you did meet online,
yeah.
not a dating app. Okay.
Not a dating app. So it's a social, it doesn't exist anymore, but it was a social media app that I started using during the pandemic lockdowns. And, you know, we were like, Clubhouse is one of them. This was another one. It was called Quilt, but it doesn't exist anymore. But, you know, everyone was on Clubhouse. Everyone was like, we were all home and bored. Like, I need to talk to somebody. So I actually got on in 2020, which he wasn't on the app yet, but I was one of the first users of the app. And then I stopped using it because I moved to Guatemala and I kind of just disconnected from I like deleted my Instagram. I was like, I'm out. I'm living my witch life. Bye. But when I came back, you know, Quilt reached out to me and was like, oh, we'd love to partner with you. You know, we'd love to create some more engagement on the app. So would you like to come back? And I was like, yeah, sure. I'm not really doing much. So sure. So I got back on the app and Cam was actually hosting a lot of rooms, and it was New Year's Eve 2020. What year was it? Oh my God, I don't even know what year it is anymore. Was it? Yeah, 2021. This year's 2023. So New Year's Eve 2021. He was planning like an in-person quilt retreat for all the people on Quilt. And I'm, you know, one of the first users of the app. I was like, oh shit, we're all going to meet up in person. So I was like, let me come into this room. And I didn't recognize anybody because it was like all new users, but he was leading the room, and I heard his voice and I was like, who that? I was just like, who's that? I was like, I like the way he holds space. I like the way he holds a room. And so I was just like, oh, like, I wonder who is that, you know? But then I was like, healthy relationships. You're not trying to find love on some things, you know. And I was single at the time, of course. But I had just ended a 5-year relationship, which was also another healthy relationship, which is why I started, when you said, how did I make the transition? I will say I had healthy relationships before Cam as well, healthy conscious uncouplings, healthy breakups and stuff like that. So there is that shift that was made. And so I had gotten out of that relationship, and it had been over a year at that point. And so I gave myself time, and I was just kind of like, I think I'm ready for love again. I don't know. You know, but for me, I'm all about being the flower, not the bee. If you know, my dating and relationship folks, you know, I talk all about flower and the bee, flower energy versus bee energy. Flower is receiving, bee is, you know, going for it. And So I just was like, I don't know who that is, but he's interesting. So I just, spread my petals open. Well, I was on the app a lot, right? And then I started noticing that he was coming to my rooms a lot. And I was like, does Cam like me? I was like, I don't know. Cam says she's smiling, giggling. Yeah, so yeah, like I made a promise to myself, I'm not going to be the bee anymore. I'm going to be the flower. And so I did, like I said, I noticed him that first time on New Year's Eve, but I was like, I'm not trying to get a man online. I'm not trying to do that right now. This is me time. But the petal flowers, I know I totally said that, like that's not what I meant, but kinda. Actually, I was on Quilt. I was hosting this super sexy late night room called Wind Down Wednesday, where we talked about all kinds of sexy topics. So I mean, yeah, I did spread my petal flowers open,
just a little. Just a little.
But yeah, so I was on a lot because I had regular rooms. And then one of the rooms that I definitely noticed he came into was my love card readings. And I was like, can't be here for no reading. Because usually it was like single women that were like, Amelia, am I going to like find the love of my life? And so, but Cam came into the room immediately. And so it was just me and him for a while. And then so we started talking and I was like, wait, are me and Cam vibing? Like, okay. But then I was like, nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Like, I'm not trying to do that on this app right now. Also, I don't even know where he lives. I don't even know anything about him. So I was like, we're kind of vibing. And then more people came into the room. We did some readings. And then, so Cam was there. And so I was like, oh, like, Cam, I didn't do a reading for you. Like, do you want a reading? And he was just like, yeah. And I was like, you didn't come here for no reading. And he'll tell you himself. He'll be like, I didn't come there for no reading.
Cam, what were you there for? Oh my gosh, I love this. And then it's been magic ever since.
Well, and then, depending who you ask and when you ask them, who slid into whose DMs, we don't know.
Listen, we're just going to say that Cam slid into your DMs because he slid into the room. And that's what it is.
There you go. Oh, there we go, Cam. That's it. That's it. That is it. He wanted to read those petals.
Love it. Listen, if anybody has any more questions for Amelia, please drop them. Kiki, I want to go back to your question. You said...
the sun, moon, and something.
Yes. Wait. She said, what part does understanding your sun, moon attributes... Wait, okay, let me reread. What part does understanding your sun, moon, etc. attribute to your goal setting?
Yes. So, I mean, we could talk for like days about that. So for me, I know I mention it a lot. At the very contextual level, I like to think of things elementally, right? So Cancer is water, Leo is fire, Virgo and Taurus are earth. And so for me, it's like, how do these elements work together? So my water really supports me in my goal setting, knowing that I need that emotional nurturing and also that I'm good at emotional nurturing. So that needs to be part of like the goal. It can't just be, how much money do I want to make? It's like, how much money do I want to make? And how is that money financially going to nurture me emotionally?
Right.
Where the fire comes in, it's where I give permission for my fire, my passion. And I don't let anybody tell me I'm too much. I don't let anybody tell me I'm too dramatic or too this or too that, because it's who I am. Like, you don't tell fire, yo, you're too hot. If fire is fire, like, don't touch it then.
Right.
Don't touch it then if you can't hang.
Right.
Yeah, so when it comes to goals, I don't know if you meant the signs or like the actual like placement in the sky, but if you do mean placement in the sky, I do follow the moon phases quite closely. When we're going to a new moon, it's more about stepping into that newness, but also kind of that blank slate kind of vibes, like what do I want to plant for the next season. And then when it comes to full moon, it's more about like, what do I want to celebrate? What am I going to be in fullness about? Okay, so you're talking about.
You meant the sign.
Yes. So at the most basic level, I like to think about it elementally. And then I like to look at what the signs actually mean. And astrology, another way to think of astrology, it's just a language. And so learning the language of it, you can kind of like, you can hear Saturn and be like, ooh, you know, or you can hear Mars and be like, oh.
Right.
So for me, I am honoring my elemental inner cosmos when I set my goals. So knowing that my fire can burn really hot in the beginning and burn out, I get to set goals that are actually longer than my fire wants it to take, because my fire can burn out. And so, and it does often, or I can burn myself.
Right.
And so if I say like, oh, I'm going to get this done in a month, I'll give myself 3 months.
Okay.
Because it's just smart for me. I just know myself, you know. And again, I said the piece about water. You know, need to make sure that I'm emotionally nurtured, because we don't want boys to men when water runs dry. You know, that's just, we don't want that. We want to keep it juicy, you know.
Yes.
So
keep it quenched.
Yes. So I have to, with my goals, when I think about them, because I can be very overzealous and like, you know, I'm very passionate and I can accomplish a lot, but just because I can, that doesn't mean I have to, and that doesn't mean I have to right now. And so I need to make sure that there's space for that self-care so that I can be nurtured by that water energy. And to honor my earth, I need to make sure there's a system, because my Virgo rising is going to tell me, bitch, you didn't dot your I's, you didn't cross your T's, and she's going to be upset with me. And when Virgo is upset with me, I get sick.
Physically sick.
Yes.
You know, that's so interesting. I've always felt like there was a connection between the physical body and alignment. I always know whenever I get like really, really sick, I know it's because, what?
Sorry. I was trying to plug my phone in. I'm here though. I'm here. I'm plugging it in.
Okay.
You still here?
I was like, oh my God, we lost her.
No.
For a really long time, I noticed that when I get like physically like ill, like cold and chills and all that stuff, it's because I'm out of alignment. I'm out of alignment now. I'm bouncing in and out of alignment at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm not like physically ill, but like emotionally and mentally, I'm just not where I'd like to be. But the fact that I am consistently, you know, reaching out to people and trying to, you know, do these interviews, I know that I'm in and out like this. I haven't quite, I'm not in the sweet spot yet, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen your full chart, your full blueprint. I call it your self-love blueprint. So I'd be curious to look at that and kind of see where there could be some energy leaks. But shit, I was going to say something. I also have ADHD, so I'm surprised that I probably did go on tangents.
It's okay. Because I
just dropped my phone, so I'm like, oh yes. You were talking about the body. The body is very literal. So the body can easily tell you, you know, if you are having a pain in your neck, who is being a pain in the neck. You know, if you are having pain in your hands, what are you holding on to? What do you need to let go of? If your nose hurts, you know, like what are you, like it's your breathing, like what are you not letting in? What are you not letting out? Even if your stomach hurts, what are you not fully processing? What are you not digesting? So yeah, your body, everything happens first energetically, and then if it doesn't get handled energetically, it will manifest in the body.
Okay.
There's a long period of time that I could not release weight from my stomach area. There are many reasons for that. That's your power center. That is also how I protected myself. You know, I've been through a lot of different traumas in my life. And so I created the weight to protect myself, so I wouldn't be too sexy. You know what I'm saying? But too bad, because I'm still
too bad now. You brought out all the sexy. Exactly. All the sexy.
Yeah, but you know, your body is quite literal. You know, Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, all of these different ancient wisdoms are really great for looking into that. But even like intuitively, you kind of know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but emotions take up real estate in our body. And if we don't process them, just like if we don't process our food, you're going to get a stomach ache.
Yeah.
Or if you over process your food, something else going to happen, you know? So it's the same thing. If we don't process our emotions, if we don't process what happens to us, even energetically, it will manifest in some form in the body. So if I let myself burn out, if I keep ignoring my gut, my intuition, I believe that a lot of the times when people get sick, it's because you weren't listening to your body or your intuition. And so your body was like, well, she wouldn't stop, so I stopped a bitch. You know, like my body's like, I'm mad at you.
Uh-huh.
I'm mad at
Yeah.
you. So we're just going to take you out for 2 weeks, you know?
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Amelia, we've been on here for an hour, and I still have so much more that I want to talk about, but then we would be going on for another hour.
Stay tuned for our 5-day long retreat where we will not stop. No, we're just going to talk for 5 days straight, everybody. Okay?
I'm up for it. I can do it. I have so many questions. I also have I have a lot of books that I plan on reading. So listen, we should do another interview like in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Will you come back?
Yeah, I would love to come back.
And then I can finish asking you all the questions I didn't ask you, and then I'll have more questions to ask you.
Amazing. Good times.
Yes, it's going to be a great time. You said it sounds like a 3-part interview series. It just might be because water signs, right? Pisces to Pisces, Pisces to Cancer, and then Queens girls. Okay, so, there's a connection here, and we have to.
And you're the Leo rising and the Leo dominant chart.
Yeah.
Yo, Pisces and Cancers, especially Pisces and Cancer women are like this. We are just like, I get you.
Yo, one of my best friends is a Cancer, and she gets on my nerves, but I love her to death.
Well, that's because she. Well, yeah, I mean, I can see that. You too much water, you're going to drown each other. So
we've been friends for, I have to count. Hold on. We've been friends for 20
since the 90s, so 5 years,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, 5 years. We've been friends for 25 years. Oh my gosh. That's a long time, but yeah, we've been friends for 25 years. I can't get rid of her.
You don't have to. Cancer women are the best. Cam will tell you.
Oh, hey, cousin. You're welcome. Listen, everybody, thank you so much for watching. We're going to have Amelia come back. I don't know when, but we're going to figure it out. She's going to come back, and we're going to talk some more. In the meantime, please go follow her at the THE Amelia, AMELIA. I forgot how to spell Amelia for a second.
That's okay. And let me put a comment. There we go.
Yeah, Fortes, FORTES. She is the cosmic CEO, a spiritual business mentor, and a self-love coach. And she's got all the vibes. She's got the witchy vibe. She's got the party vibe. She's got the leveling up vibes. You want to follow her. Follow her. Join her programs. I'm part of her program as well. I follow her on Instagram, and I've subscribed to her Facebook. So if you haven't, go do it right now. Thank you again, Amelia. This was
having me.
Awesome.
This was so good. And y'all rocked with us for a hot minute.
Yes! I love my people.
I was reviving, and the math was mathing.
The math was mathing. It made sense. All right, you guys, thank you so much again. Thank you, Amelia, and I will see you all next week.